Okay, we'll go ahead and start the weekly road and bridge meeting. We've got several items on the agenda, which you want to take first, David.
Yeah, so the letter that you all read, I guess if we could have the commissioners send the mayor the letter, letting him know that that is their jurisdiction.
Okay, I think we had an opportunity to read it before. Is there any changes that you guys see need made? Okay, would you send it to, so are we in agreement to go, we'll go ahead and sign it and send it out?
Yeah, I'll send it to Kayla.
Put it on letterhead and then we can just sign it. Okay, what's next?
The conditional acceptance of these improvements, the letter is addressing. Apparently, that's the only way that the city will allow building permits. And there's a letter attached to the back of this that states that the next division, they will construct clear to center line. Whether the next division touches 49th or not.
There's access on 49.
Yeah. Whether the next division touches 49th or not, they will construct 2 center line.
They are planning on doing an additional more subdivisions as a countryside division that will touch 49th North.
Is this different from this?
Well,
There it is.
they're the same. They're the same thing. It's just, this is the only way they'll issue building permits right now. And so we do a conditional acceptance now, but we feel like it's best to make sure that the city of Iona knows that that really is their road.
But this conditional acceptance doesn't take away from what we're.
I don't think it
requiring
takes
here.
away, I don't, it's just is a matter of getting Rockwell the acceptance of Iona and us in order to get building permits started quicker than going through here and trying to figure out whether or not they're actually going to take it when they do have it. So,
Just, I might not understand it thoroughly, but it seems like it's a little in conflict with each other. What we're asking the mayor here
So-
and what we're,
yeah. I think the letter clears up the situation that we've been in. And having the letter, the acceptance is the situation we're in today. This clears it up, and moving forward, we wouldn't have to issue that letter. If this was already taken care of with the city of Iona, we wouldn't be issuing this letter.
but if we're issuing the letter, then what pressure is there on them to go ahead and accept the road? They can't get building permits unless they get the access. Even though we do this,
Well, on the next division,
but on this
Well,
division, it takes care of it.
okay, so basically, we're in a situation right now where we've said we'll do the conditional acceptance, but we don't think we ought to do the conditional acceptance. We think it ought to be the city of Iona accepting it. But because of where we are today, that's where this comes in. Where we want to be tomorrow is we want the city of Iona to actually acknowledge that that is their road and take it in jurisdiction of it.
Seems, I'm a little uncomfortable with this, honestly.
They already have.
Am I missing something that you guys are seeing better?
It's just trying to patch it back from where it is to where it needs to be with this. And not unfairly holding up the developer, because he's on record of having to do those. That's the main thing, is making sure the developer knows he's got the obligation to do the improvements when he starts the second phase. Because they haven't got the second phase approved yet, correct?
They haven't even applied for the second phase yet.
It's just kind of putting them on notice, because, that's been one of the problems is they get the agreement on the first one, and then with the second, they kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
They're obligated, and that puts him on notice that he's obligated.
And this clears up a strip of ground. So they annex to the section line. And on this particular road, the section line is about 8 foot north of the center line of the road. And so if there's a discrepancy later on, well, we'll accept jurisdiction over what we annexed. There's still that strip of ground that this letter makes sure Rockwell comes back and improves it to the county arterial thickness section.
Okay.
Before it moves on.
So when it comes around to the next one, and I only does this again, then
That
they can't,
section line,
they can't come back and say, well, last time you did it, so we want you to do it
Kind of
again.
my worry.
well,
Just
and
keeps them from doing that.
this setting out will hopefully solve that and make sure that they know that once they annex, they're taking the whole thing.
Okay, are you guys okay with this? I don't see a signature line on it. Do you want?
Just
Typically, it's
initial.
just initial.
Yeah, okay. The thing, 31st.
Next one is a quitclaim deed from Bonneville County, City of Ucon. It's in between 105th North and Highway 20. Full maps there showing the location of the area described.
Yeah, this was to clear up that. We talked about this before.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any concerns?
No.
Consign? You need it?
Overrides this. That's the only two action items that we had.
Okay, we've got one more, the landfill fees. The fees for the county sanitary landfill be $126. And the hauling fee will be $32.50, so both of them are a 5% increase. And, so that's on our agenda to approve. You guys good with that? Move to approve. Second? All in favor?
Right.
Can I get a copy of that one?
We have one more, if you don't mind waiting just
No,
one
man.
more minute.
Happy to sit here and listen.
Appreciate your patience.
Sure.
We've got, one more, looks like an appointment.
And some reappointments as well.
Okay, you want to go ahead and explain to us?
So we have, an appointment for a new planning and zoning commissioner, Ralph Lintz. And his term would begin on August 1st, and be considered for reappointment October 1st of 2030. He is willing to serve on the board.
Who wasn't?
Ralph Lintz. He is, I believe, from Washington State. He's been here for 2 years. I think he has some
This is the same.
different
matter, this-
experience. Then we have a reappointment for Kevin Ward, Doug Martin, Swan Valley, Doug Barry, and James Hall. So. Need a couple of signatures.
Remind me what's the maximum length of term?
It's a 6-year term and they can 2 times.
Looks like you've got a really good board right now.
If it's full, adding Ralph, we'll have 11.
Good right now, I think.
11 on the board?
There will be 11 on the board now. And our requirement for quorum is 6. Now. So. And during harvest time, it can be difficult to get to 6. We have to beg sometimes.
You won't have to next year because they won't have any water, so they won't.
Yeah, I won't be in the doctors in town.
So
They'll have lots of time to serve that.
Thank you. Anything else from planning zone? Okay. Looks like we've got discussion.
Yes, we do. We're here to talk about, the new school. And, the Norton plat. So I'd like to get the Norton plat here to get it signed and approved. But we need some good direction on 49th Street. You know, in May was our understanding that the county was gonna do it and I guess that's gone away. And now,
What?
design it and build it.
Not building.
Well, that's what this letter implies. Anyway, that's where we were. That's where we were in May. I had the road designed for the school district, there half since May.
Oh, okay. So the school district still realizes they have to build their house.
Now they realize that. That wasn't their understanding in May. That Public Works was gonna have Horrocks design and build it.
Or they were gonna have Horrocks design so that everybody could.
Pay, and the school district was on board with that. All I'm saying, Roger, is that now that has changed apparently. So who's paying for the lights is my first question. We relocate the lights and how's that going down? Is it back to the original way?
What lights are we really?
Power
The idea to do the engineering and, have it, as a county coordinated project with everybody building their section was so Rocky Mountain would be able to move the lines. They would prefer, going all the way up, but we could do it from the canal back and then let everybody else do their own. But we talked about you already having the engineering, because Horrocks was, working towards a federal aid standard.
Yeah.
Which we're not gonna, you'd never get that built for years if we did that.
Now, I understand. I'm just saying that now we're back to the original way we were gonna do it. So does that mean that we're just gonna move this power line kind of as we go down the road? And is the school district on the hook for that Rocky Mountain Power bill?
Not if we have the agreement that, you guys, we engineer an outside line so Rocky Mountain can understand, because we'll fill in the other blanks. You know, you fill in the parts that, the county's gonna have to build. Be nice to coordinate those, but it'll probably do it in a patchwork. But Rocky Mountain needs that engineering line so that they can get a work order in to move the line. That doesn't, mean that if you want to keep going early before we build the road or move the lines, you know, you'd have to get temporary service, which would be your obligation.
We're still under the same,
I think the problem comes into play is they can't build the half of the road with the power lines there.
Right? So that's why we want power lines to be first. But we talked about the engineering, you know, because he's going back to Horrocks and not doing it to the Federal Aid standard, which I think is what you designed.
Well, okay, so
Federal Aid.
I'll just cut to the chase here. So we want to get a building permit August 15th. I've got plans in for 49th Street and Mayberry Street on City Works.
Okay, and I don't think Lance was aware that you had the plans,
Well, I was aware that he had the plans,
but they were
but then
included.
the next set that were submitted to get this moving forward had all the 49th North improvements by others. That's when I reviewed it and sent comments back.
So
Now I have off-site.
I've got offsite improvements and I've got Lance's comments and I can get those comments addressed and back in.
But I
And,
need to review the off-site section.
right, and that's what I've got it broke down into offsite improvements, which is, well, and there's the other problem is we're not doing the sewer line. Iona Bonneville Sewer District is doing the sewer line, so that's by others. I guess we're putting in, the school district's putting in the water line. So it's kind of a patchwork, kind of a deal up here. But it doesn't stop the fact that the school district has opened the bids, they're signing the contract this week, so they want to get a building permit, start moving dirt out there middle of August. And so we need to get a recorded plat. And I have the plat, the development agreement and the drawings in on City Works, and I can address Lance's comments, and I'd like to bring the plat in here in a couple weeks
Okay,
for signatures and to get
back
it
to the-
recorded.
You know, I think the idea was to have it all engineered as one, but I think we've realized that's not gonna get going very quick.
And I can adjust on the fly. I just,
Well, that letter was to, have the school district participate in the engineering cost. Now, if you've already got it done, we can give them credit, and if you'll just provide that to Horrocks to snap in the project. So the Rocky Mountain we can get going. Same requirement's gonna be done for Mike across the street and, for Levi and Curtis up the road.
I'm happy to give all my design to Horrocks or whoever it needs to go to. I guess the critical part for me, for District 93, is for Lance to get the drawings reviewed and approved, so I can have everything signed here, and
But the sewer thing.
you guys sign
we can't
plat in
control.
2 weeks.
So what do you do if the sewer district doesn't come in? Get their.
I've already got a will serve letter from the sewer district.
But what if they
But
don't
it
have
affects
it?
your road construction on
It does,
49th.
I know.
So if we do, yeah, I mean, I think if they don't, then it's their problem. You know, that'll,
Well, then we're just
They
gonna
have
have a conversation with Donna
yeah,
and make her understand. Again, I'm just saying that, so there's a lot of pieces here. But the school district needs to start, because they don't wanna open in August of 25. They wanna open in August of 26. But to do that, they still need to get going this August.
exactly. And I think the feeling was they could get all that in, I hope, next summer. Austin could work if it looked like you were close. It'd be a lot better if you had the improvements. We talked to Austin about a conditional CO so that you can start, but then you got the mess of the traffic in there. But you're also gonna have to be aware that that's contingent on what Rocky Mountain Power can hold poles. If not, you could get a temporary service up there, which the school district would have to pay for. But that would also affect the schedule of the road. That's about as fast as we can make. all these spaces come together.
So what the school district, what their construction schedule is right now is just to start moving dirt and get the pad, the building pad up to grade, start working on the building pad and build. And then next year, start, on 49 and Mayberry, do the offsites, because it's, I mean, this year obviously is coming to an end quickly, so that's my thought. Headwaters is the GC, so I think that that's what they want to do, but their initial plan is to just start working on the building pad and building this late summer and fall and winter. And then next year, next construction season, start on the roads. But I guess the reason why I'm here and the reason why we are having this discussion is plan approval and building permits. And I need mostly Lance's help to get those plans, you and I get those plans approved, so I can bring drawings in here for signatures and get an approved recorded plat.
Maybe where there's two things that we don't have complete control, and that's Rocky Mountain schedule to move the power poles and ion modules.
Rocky Mountain won't do anything without a recorded plat.
Right, and that's what we're trying to get Horrocks. And all we have to do is get the engineering for them, the boundary that they go through, and then we can complete the engineering to build the road. As soon as they get that, then they put a work order in.
Can you issue a conditional building permit or a partial building permit or something?
I mean, we can issue those building permits conditional that the plat is, finished before we do the CO. We can do that.
The plat's finished before the CO.
Yes.
I think that works. That works for me, obviously.
Yeah.
That would also include the condition that if Rocky Mountain hasn't got it moved in time for the power lines, you'd have to run some temporary service.
Well, we would have to come up with the verbiage for that agreement, I guess.
Austin is aware of that.
They're probably not gonna run the power service off those transmission lines anyway.
No, they're not. I just don't know where they're gonna get their temp. Probably
The
from,
temp goes the way Tim said, where it's probably a 3-phase or something higher, but they can hang it on the existing poles and run a temporary line in.
Maybe.
Well, that Rocky Mountain said they could do that, but there will be a cost.
I get it. I understand that.
Well, what's this gonna do with the engineering though? Because that's, they were too much money when they came back with the federal standards and everything in it, right? And we
Well-
asked you to go back and take those federal standards out, but now if we're using Jeff's engineering, I mean, I don't.
He wouldn't have to engineer that portion of it.
They're
So
they're
it
still
should
gonna
cut
have
the
to have
costs down
some.
dramatically.
No, I don't think. it
No, it's
will,
not that
because
much.
we were
My
asking
piece is
for a
a half
mile.
of
It's not.
the piece in front of the plat, so it's 400 feet of a half.
It's
of a-
not that much. And they're still gonna have to work with the information that Jeff gives in order to come up with an overall plan for it, so.
Well, this has been such a jumble from the beginning, simply because we were trying to help the school and everybody out to get the power lines moved in the most cost-effective way. I mean, we were trying to help, but it's really jumbled it up to the point I wish we'd just let everybody do their own, almost. But
Well,
now,
we're there. We just, and I think it can work. I just want to be ready to start working August. In 2 weeks, August 15th, they're gonna show up with a construction trailer and start moving dirt. I know you don't need a building permit to move dirt, but they want a building permit nonetheless, just so they got it.
yeah, I mean, I hope we can get.
I think by the time we need a CO, hopefully it's cleared up way before then.
Yeah.
Well, we
And
just,
I need to figure out from Donna too about the sewer line. That needs to be coordinated, but
Cause I want that kinda incorporated in the road plan, cause I don't want you building the road.
no, I show it on my road plans. I need
Yeah.
to, I need to make a note on there that it's shown, but it's the final layout will be by IBSD.
Yeah.
So we have to put the water
We
line.
just wanna make sure we're as clear as we could possibly be. You know, the letter that they got to participate
Yes.
was for the engineering. Didn't imply that they were gonna be responsible for building the road or any.
No, I know, and the school district was set to pay their share, as the letter indicated.
Now they
and-
would have to pay their share of the engineering.
Right, yeah, because I was even talking to Lance about taking what they paid me out of their share, but anyway, we're past that now, but.
Yeah, if you've got the engineering done, just put it in there, the cost for Horrocks to include is gonna be just minimal.
Right, right. Okay, all right, well, that's how we'll move forward then. You guys are okay with it?
Yeah, let's get you going.
Yeah. I mean, this is. We look back at 45th East and regret that we hadn't done all this, or Iona Road's a better one. You got all those subdivisions that could have been built out, then you come back in and do the pieces. We're trying to pioneer a way.
We're trying to figure out a
that.
new way. I agree. It's gotta be a better way than that. That's
That's the
for
only way.
sure. Okay,
Okay, I will get those offsite improvements reviewed.
well, don't do it yet. I'm addressing, you have some comments that
Yeah.
you have. Let me address those and send you in a fresh set,
Okay,
and I'll
and
email
you'll
you.
include the offsite with those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you in a bit. See you in a couple of weeks, hopefully, for some Mylar signatures.
Okay, good.
Okay.
What else have we got for discussion?
Did you have something?
I don't think I'm there yet. No.
There yet.
That's cause you're here.
Pardon me?
Well, you can't be there and hear both.
Oh, no, they're like, I'm not quite ready yet. I need some grammar, Nazi help here.
That makes us nervous. Now we have to worry about what you got coming.
You always have to.
It usually mostly it's just employee issues as usual.
It reminds me, in fact, I need to call Jeff because he wanted to get together. He didn't want it to be a public meeting, but get together with me, because of the history and get an understanding on, I think it's all covered in the plan on the closure of the 18 inches of cover, and things like that out there.
Oh, for the hatch pit.
Yeah, he wants to make sure the county is on the hook for that, and he's willing to kind of work as far as getting some of the 18 inches of cover that we don't have out there. Because they have some stockpiles, things like that to offset the cost, and then maybe discuss the possibilities of a future C&D site.
So do you wanna set it up where you come out to the road bridge?
No, we could just do it in here. And I have no problem. It's just a regular meeting. He seems to want to be more free to speak.
Okay.
He has some concerns about his neighbor out there, the city. So.
Yeah.
And wants to have an understanding of what that is. It'd be a good chance to talk to him about that one on Perry Drive, what bit is that?
Don't know.
Yeah, about the possibility of either using that or they would provide that as a service, exploring that.
Yeah.
Because that'd be great if you didn't have to deal with the C&D site. I don't think they'll be willing to do that, but at the very least, we need to find out.
It's a pretty good size bid. It's a pretty good size bid.
That'll last a while.
Yeah.
So, anyway, maybe the first of the week. He said that earlier in the week is usually better.
So if you want me there, let me know.
Okay. I don't know if we want him there unless I know what he wants.
Ouch.
No, I mean, it'd be critical.
Yeah.
You know, probably even have David.
Commissioner Walker, have you, talked with Randy Neal on that Jake break ordinance?
Prosecutor.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I've seen you guys are, meeting with him tomorrow. Is that something you could bring up? Be good. That's all I'm waiting for on that, and bring it to you as his acceptance of the.
And a copy hasn't responded.
That reminds me. Darlene Craig, Bill Craig's widow.
Oh,
Oh, you know, she's not quite as aggressive as Bill, but she said she doesn't know what's going on, but is it Brett Jensen that has the piece of property up the road that he's building something?
Building a big shop on.
Yeah, she said, I don't know what they're doing out there, but they had trucks just up and down this road going fast. And she thought it was those construction trucks.
Oh,
So maybe if you know him,
yeah,
talk to him, tell him to slow it down.
okay.
But she said she pulled a building permit further up. You know, there's like a $4 million building permit.
That's a pretty big shop.
Is that his?
Yeah, I would say so, isn't it?
Probably.
It's a big shop that he built.
Is it?
Yeah, offices. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, if they're just construction trucks, you know, if you can kind of work with her.
I'll call Brett, tell him.
She isn't quite as sensitive to it. I thought she was gonna talk about Jake breaks, that's what reminded me, you know, but it's just said, start early in the morning. At like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, they just had truck after truck, and they were going like crazy.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay.
Anything else?
I still think
Okay, we'll go ahead and